Hello everybody and welcome back. In this video we will talk about the performance details page that NetSuite allows us. So if your NetSuite is very slow and you notice that it's been just running very slow and you see that spinning going on and it takes maybe 10-15 seconds to load or whatever the time might be, this is the page where it will show you exactly where the problem is. And so we will talk about the data overview, what is the performance page, what is this specific tool that NetSuite gives us to find out. We'll go into NetSuite and look at a quick demo, and then we'll try to analyze in details and figure out what are the different errors that NetSuite can give us and find out where the problem is and how to potentially fix this. Let's talk about the data process overview, how this actually data works and how it travels and where this issue can happen. And so NetSuite splits it up in three different places where the issue can happen. And then once we figure out where, then we can dig deeper and find out exactly what the problem is. So NetSuite splits it up in three different categories. So we got the client, we got the network, and we got the server. So what is the client? So client is where you are on your computer. This is where you are triggering, clicking, and things like that. So once you click, let's say submit, like we did there, right? Save a record or whatever we did to actually send the data, send the request to the server, and so the server can bring us back the data that we want. So that's the client. So this is where we are. And then the network comes in. So we actually physically, then this request is being sent over the Wi-Fi, the internet, the cables, the phone stations, whatever you are using to send that request, the actual physical data transfer, use speed of the internet. And then once the data comes to the server, this requests, and then so the server then does whatever it's doing. It's calculating, it's loading different records, it's pulling, it's saving, it's changing, whatever the logic may be. There's workflows and scripts and everything can run there. And then it's gonna send the information back to the client again. So then it's gonna send the confirmation or whatever you requested to do is server's gonna send back. And this is where again network comes in to bring that confirmation or data back to the client. And then the client, again, before you see the data, there's also the client comes in again, and you can have actual different scripts and different things that NetSuite will actually do. Your browser will interpret the data and display it to your screen. So that's why I kind of split that client on top and on the bottom, as it will have two different times where it's actually doing different things. And so this is gonna help us understand at which point this error or this slowness and how slow this data is. And so now let's get back into NetSuite and see what actually this page looks like that will give us an answer to why this is so slow. So when you're in NetSuite, anywhere that you are, and anytime you are in NetSuite, right here, there's the Oracle NetSuite, kind of their own logo. This is your company logo, which you can put in there. You can guys see the video that I posted about how to change this logo. But this logo right here on the left never changes. This is what NetSuite puts in place. And so when you double click on that, you will see the performance detail page that's coming in from NetSuite. And this is what we're gonna talk about. So anywhere in NetSuite at any point, so I have a good example right here. So when you're on the sales order, for instance, right? Or any record or whatever you are. And let's say over here right now, I'm gonna click on Save and New. And when I click on Save and New, well, right now it's gonna tell me that I have not changed the record, which is fine. So what is gonna happen here, now that I click OK, it's gonna send that request to server, and then comes back here again telling you the confirmation transaction successfully saved. And so now if you are experiencing any issues, this was pretty quick, but if yours really slow and it's taking forever and you want to know why, you just double click once it loads, double click on it, and it's gonna tell you exactly what this is. And in this example, you can see that the total value number is 3.381, which this is in seconds. And so it took us just a little bit over 3 seconds, which, you know, I think it's okay. But again, this is okay. 3 seconds for saving the record is not horrible, but of course it can be better. But I also do not have much. This is a demo account, so there is really not much going on inside of this account. So let's go over exactly what and how we can actually get this data understood and see what we can do next. So let's go back to the slides and figure it out what this is. So I took a little screenshot of that before. So let's go over what actually NetSuite gives us this data. And NetSuite actually is really good now, because every time they actually make more and more changes to this. And now there's more information. Before it wasn't as in detail. So right now you can see they give you the total. They give you the server. And also the server, which is very interesting here, is splitting you up by the server scripts and then also server workflows, which is kind of helpful. And in this case, you can see that there is zeros because, of course, there is no scripts in this account, so there didn't take any time. There's network, that's where we talked about before. That's the actual path, your connection, Wi-Fi, your internet connection. And then there's client, and that client is your site. So those are the 3 different sides. And so there also gives you the page, the email, the account that is being used at, and then also the timestamp, what time you made that request. Okay, and this will be helpful later when we reference in this performance detail with NetSuite with any issues. So let's go over a little bit more in details on each of that. So let's talking about network. So network is your speed of the internet. So that's probably your possible cause. So if you see that network is taking over a lot of percentage here, it's probably your internet is slow. Now, I'm not really great with, I'm not really familiar much with the firewall and security, but this would fall into this category as well. If you have some kind of redirection, or if you're validating the sites, and this could be as well that, again, I don't understand much in that, so you would have to advise with your security personnel on that. Now, possible fixes. Give it a few minutes. You will see every time where, I'll talk about with different issues, it's always going to be the same thing. Give it a few minutes, check it again. This could be some kind of a glitch, could be whatever, just a slow second that something happened, and you hit refresh again, and it'll like right away works great. So you don't have to worry about that. But if it keeps happening, that's you probably have a different issue. So run network diagnostics. So you can actually go on Ookla or Google and run what is my speed, and you find out what if there is an issue with your speed of the internet, and if it is very slow, then you probably don't wanna get away from Wi-Fi, or if it's very slow in the location, or maybe your network is overloaded. Well, you can pay your bill. Maybe you didn't pay your bill, and now you don't have internet. And of course, if the problem still persists after all this, go ahead and open up a ticket with NetSuite, send them this page, and you can tell them, and maybe hopefully they will give you a little bit more details from their side, and see if there is any issues on their end as well, or maybe they can give you advice on how to go about fixing some of these problems. Now, the next one we'll talk about the client side, which is your side, of the computer where you're sitting. So if you see a big percentage there, which in this case is 24%, which is okay, and you can see the possible causes for this could be your client scripts. There's a lot of scripts are running, so there's a lot of different things going on. You have forms that's loading, different, maybe you have images loading, whatever you have in there. Loading records pre-populate, so you have a lot of those records where they're linked from a different record, so that could be an issue there as well. Then possible fixes. Again, give it a few minutes, see if it will fix the problem. If not, clear your cache. Sometimes that could be an issue as well when it's trying to overload or trying to duplicate some of that stuff. So sometimes it actually helps that. Open another window in incognito mode and try to run the same page, see if the error gets fixed. And then further, of course, you can look into scripts. If you find that there's a lot of issues with your scripts, or maybe you just recently added a different form or whatever it is, and see if you can spot recent changes on your client side, and you probably can find it and get those things fixed or eliminate if you don't need that at all. So this could be your script error that kind of stops and takes time for it to do. And of course, if you can't fix it and you don't know what to do next, like always, go ahead and open up your ticket with NetSuite, send them this page again, and hopefully they will be able to fix the problem for you or help you out, point you in the right direction. Now, the last one is the server side. And the server side, in this case, you can see is 72%. And it's probably almost in most of the cases will be probably the issue, unless it's your side, which is you will probably gonna know ahead of time. But if it's always been good and not all of a sudden it's really slow, and you get calls from different people and your administrator, and all of a sudden, oh, NetSuite is slow, well, that's most likely gonna be a server. And this is how to kind of troubleshoot that. So what can happen is that your server-side scripts, whatever is running, executing your workflows, that you have a lot of data, workflows that you have a transition from a record to record, whatever you're saving the record or you're editing, there could be different workflows that trigger and scripts that are running. So that could be an issue. Also, you're pulling a lot of records, your fields are loading, and things like that also can definitely slow down the server. Your logic, whatever is happening during that page request, right? Whatever the server is doing during that time, trying to calculate points or trying to calculate and fill in and, post onto different records or whatever the case may be, whatever the logic is on the server side, that could be the problem. And of course, I put it in the end because we'll go back and revisit this in a second, and I'll tell you exactly what the problem is, which is a NetSuite Oracle service error, which is NetSuite is Oracle server has an issue, actually physical storage wherever your data is stored. And that could be that's probably where the issue actually is. And so possible fixes, again, give it a few minutes. Maybe their server was resetting, restarting. Maybe in a few minutes it can go away. Now check sites for service, and we'll come back. We will finish with that topic. But again, look into scripts. If it's not a service error from NetSuite side and it's your side, your server that has a lot of the calculation, a lot of scripts that are running, and there could be a lot of performance problem on your side. Now this will be constantly, right? So it's not like something that you will have just today and tomorrow it will go away. If it's a script and a workflow and there's a lot of things going on, you will always see this error. You will always see it taking it that slow. So this is when it always persists, your issue. And of course, you can always open up a ticket if you cannot solve this problem. Now, let's figure it out. So the server status. So there are two different things that I like to do when I find out that the server is taking it super slow and nothing really every time was good for the past weeks or whatever, and now all of a sudden it's running super slow. So what happens is that NetSuite, like I said, NetSuite service is on the cloud. So your data is actually somewhere, well, not really on the cloud, but it's actually physically on the server, which NetSuite stores in a physical warehouse or data warehouse, whatever it could be, whatever it is. And NetSuite has very many of those. So what you need to do is when you're in NetSuite, before you check it, what you need to do is you need to find out which server, which location your data is actually pulling from. And to do that, you need to go to Setup, Company, and Company Information. And once it loads, you will see right here on the data center, it might be a little bit different location yours is, but find it where the data center is, and right now it says US Ashburn 2. And so once you have that, you know that this is where your data is actually sitting, main one, right? So I mean, and I know Oracle does, they pull on, they actually have backups on different servers as well in different locations, just in case that server goes down. But currently, that's what it's pulling from as the main data. And so what you need to do is, there is a website from NetSuite, which is called status.netsuite.com. I will post it in the comments, and you can come here and you will see, I mean, they always change different locations. They always add more. And when I started this 7 years ago into NetSuite, we only had like 7 servers, I believe, seven locations. So what you need to do is you need to find yours, and this is where this one is. And if that's an issue with the server, they're usually really good on updating this, and you will see this red kind of a checkbox, or I believe it's like an X cross here. You will see that there is an issue with that. Usually there's nothing much you can do about it. This is where you wait. You can go ahead and open up a ticket with NetSuite just to kind of give them that, oh, we're having an issue for your records, and you can at this point tell your company, send an email that, hey, we're experiencing issues with the server NetSuite. So nothing on your side. So don't worry about fixing or touching anything on your side, because you're gonna mess things up. There is an issue with NetSuite server location, or whatever that issue is. And sometimes they have flooding or fire, or sometimes they have maintenance, and they will have an issue and they will shut it down. And usually they'll come back pretty fast, maybe 20 minutes, 2 hours maybe. If it's something huge, major, like a storm or flooding, whatever, they can be a little longer, maybe 24 hours or so. But even that, they will then, I think it happens only once in my 7 years working with NetSuite, only once, where they had fire, and I believe it was fire or some kind of a disaster that happened, and it took about 24 hours, a little bit more than that, and they actually activated another location, and it was moved, the data was to another location. So, and then another website, which is current status, also from Down Detector, that's where a lot of people go and report, basically. And you can come here and kind of see the locations, kind of by the zip code, and then how many reports. And usually when it's quick, you will see thousands and thousands of people reporting that here, so you will know there's a major issue here. And of course on here as well, you can kind of see which servers inside of that, which service is kind of being affected. So sometimes only emails will not work, and sometimes only Suite Answers or whatever that servers may be, only that one got affected. And that way you will know that other parts of your NetSuite can work, but not one, but the other one will work. So it's not necessarily your whole NetSuite's not working, but some services may not work and some will still work just fine. So hopefully this helped you guys to figure it out, and hopefully you guys can fix those problems. And let me know in the comments if you guys find another tool or a different way to fix some of the problems that you guys might come, and I'll try to answer those questions. Okay, thank you very much for watching. Until next time.